So I'm 23, I'm from the UK, I run a faceless YouTube channel called Wi-Fi Uni with 25,000 subscribers, and it makes me around 2 grand a month. And I genuinely believe I make more from that than a lot of channels with 100,000 subscribers. And I want to explain why, because I think it comes down to a few specific decisions rather than luck. And I think this is actually one of the more important things to understand if you're thinking about starting a channel yourself, because it changes how you should think about success on YouTube entirely. Please excuse this AI slop voice. I promise the value in this video is worth it. So the first thing to understand is that subscriber count and income are not as connected as people think. And I know that sounds like a strange thing to say because subscriber count is the number everyone looks at. It's the number on your channel page, it's the thing people compare when they're sizing up a creator. But the reason it's not actually that connected to income is that most of my income doesn't come from AdSense, which is the one income stream that's actually tied directly to views, and therefore loosely tied to subscriber count. It comes from things that are tied to how specific and relevant my audience is, and that's a completely different game with completely different rules. The biggest income stream by far is sponsors. Companies making AI tools paying me to feature their product in a video. And the reason this works so well at my size is that my audience is incredibly specific. Every single person watching is interested in AI, making money online, building something for themselves. There's no wasted audience. There's no chunk of subscribers who are just there for unrelated content. Every single person is a potential customer for the kind of products that sponsor my videos. And that's an audience a company would pay a premium to reach, even if there are only 25,000 of them. Because a channel with 100,000 subscribers covering general content, let's say a broader tech or lifestyle channel, has an audience that's mostly irrelevant to that same sponsor. Like maybe 5,000 of those 100,000 subscribers actually care about AI tools specifically, and the rest are just there for whatever else that channel covers. Gaming content, vlogs, reviews, whatever the broader appeal of that channel is. So a sponsor looking at my channel sees 25,000 people who are all potential customers, and a sponsor looking at a bigger general channel sees 100,000 people, but only a small fraction of them are actually in their target market. And when you actually think about it from the advertiser's perspective, rather than just looking at the subscriber number, the smaller, specific channel is often the better buy, because they're not paying to reach 95,000 people who don't care about their product just to get to the 5,000 who do. And the rates reflect that. I get paid well relative to my size because the audience match is so clean and so efficient for them. The second thing is that I have multiple income streams stacked on top of each other, rather than relying on one. And I think this is something a lot of bigger channels actually get wrong. Not because they're doing anything badly, just because once the views are coming in and AdSense is paying out a decent amount, there's less pressure to go and build out other income streams, and it's easy to just let that be the thing. But AdSense resets every single month, and the rates aren't that high unless you're doing genuinely huge numbers, millions of views a month. So even a channel with 100,000 subscribers might only be making a similar amount to me overall, if AdSense is basically their main thing, and they haven't properly set up sponsors or affiliates or any kind of product or community around their audience. I've got sponsors as the main chunk of the income, somewhere around 1,500 of the 2 grand. Then affiliate links, bringing in a couple $100s a month from tools I genuinely use and recommend in my videos anyway. Then AdSense on top as a smaller bonus, maybe $100. And now a school community that's just started and is already adding recurring revenue on top of all of that. And stacking those means the channel earns from multiple directions, instead of being completely dependent on one source that could dry up or fluctuate with the algorithm or with ad rates changing. And I think a lot of bigger channels just haven't bothered setting up affiliate links properly, haven't built any kind of community or product around their audience, and are just relying on AdSense and the occasional sponsor deal that comes their way. And when you compare that to a smaller channel that's actively stacked several income streams on purpose, the smaller channel can genuinely come out ahead, even with a fraction of the subscribers. Because it's not about the size of any single stream, it's about how many streams you've actually built. The third reason, and I think this is the one people underestimate the most, is the niche itself. because the niche determines how much advertisers are willing to pay to reach your audience. And this is something that doesn't get talked about enough when people are choosing what kind of channel to start. AI and making money online is one of the highest value niches there is right now, because the people watching are actively in a buying mindset. They're looking for tools, they're looking to start something, they have genuine intent to spend money on things related to what they're watching. Compared to something like gaming or entertainment, where the audience is there purely to be entertained and isn't necessarily looking to spend money on anything connected to the content at all. So even with the exact same subscriber count, a channel in a high-intent niche like mine is going to out-earn a channel in a low-intent niche, and that gap gets bigger the more specific and high-value the niche is. And I think a lot of people pick their niche based on what they're passionate about personally, or what they think will get the most views, without ever really thinking about whether that niche actually has buyers in it, whether there's money flowing through that space that a creator can tap into. And this is why I keep coming back to that gold rush idea. Because the niche I pick specifically has companies spending money to reach the audience. The AI tool space is full of well-funded companies who need to acquire customers, and a creator sitting in the middle of that, explaining the tools to the exact people those companies want to reach, is in a genuinely strong position, regardless of how big the channel actually is. I also think there's a fourth thing worth mentioning, which is just consistency, and how that compounds with everything else I've already said. Because posting daily means the channel has constant visibility, which means more inbound from sponsors, which means more opportunities to stack those deals on top of each other. And a channel that posts inconsistently, even if it's bigger, often has a less predictable income because the visibility isn't constant, the inbound interest isn't constant, and that unpredictability makes it harder to plan around. So if you put all of that together, a specific high-intent audience that sponsors actually want to reach, multiple income streams stacked instead of relying on one, a niche where the audience has genuine buying intent, and consistent posting that keeps the visibility and the inbound interest steady, that's why 25,000 subscribers for me can outperform 100,000 subscribers in a different niche, relying on a single income stream. It's not about the number on the channel. It's about who those people are, how relevant they are to the people who'd actually pay to reach them, and how many different ways you've built to earn from that relationship. And I think that's the thing most creators don't think about until they're already a few years in, and wondering why their views look good, but the income doesn't match what they expected. If you want to build something with this kind of model in mind, I do have a school community where I go through exactly how I think about this stuff in more depth. Link is in the description. No pressure either way. Cheers for watching.